Hello, everyone. Welcome to Barca News. It is April 19th, 2025, and Barcelona just completed an epic comeback against Celta Vigo, having been down 1-3 at the 62nd minute, and then ending the match 4-3 with a late goal from the penalty spot by Rafinha. This was an absolutely amazing match to watch. However, there's a big but to this comeback, and we're going to discuss it. There's a lot to discuss, so let's begin. Hello, everyone. Welcome to the channel. My name is Mo, and this is the Barca News post-match live analysis where we analyze Barcelona matches as soon as they end. Then we also get to interact with you lovely people in the chat section by reading your comments, answering your questions, and getting that discussion going. This is not to be confused with the Barca News podcasts, which are on Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays, where we discuss Barcelona news and where I also get to interact with you lovely people. Don't forget to hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, drop a comment. And let's begin with the match analysis because Barcelona, ladies and gentlemen, just completed an absolutely epic comeback, having been down 1-3 at the 62nd minute against Celta Vigo, then scoring 2 goals in a matter of 4 minutes to tie it 3-3, and then a late goal in the stoppage time from the penalty spot by Rafinha gave Barcelona an incredibly important victory because now Barcelona are 7 points ahead of Real Madrid, with Real Madrid set to play a very difficult match tomorrow against Athletic Club de Bilbao, where if they lose, well, the lead will will remain at 7 points. If they draw, it will be 6 points, and even if they win, it goes back to being a 4-point lead. So Barcelona putting the pressure on Real Madrid during this final stretch of the season. Now, this victory, I think, is confirming what we've been saying throughout this whole season, that this Barcelona mentality is much different than previous seasons, whether under Valverde, Setien, Koeman, or even Xavi Hernandez, because any other season, Barcelona being down 1-3, that would have been the end of the story. But yeah, the team rallied. They scored 3 goals in a matter of 40 minutes, and Barcelona were able to pull this epic comeback. Now, having said that, there is a huge but. And no, I'm not talking about big booty chicks. I'm talking about a big red flag that I saw today. Now, before we go into the red flag, as far as entertainment, as far as being a football fan, as far as showmanship, I think this match had it all. This is the kind of match that any football fan would love to see. 7 goals in total, an epic comeback, penalty kick with VAR check in stoppage time, late goal to give Barcelona victory. I mean, this match had it all. And as a football fan, as a neutral football fan, I think this was an absolutely entertaining match. This was an absolute spectacle. And it's one hell of a comeback that I think we all enjoyed. However, as a Barcelona fan, this match is very concerning to me. Yes, I'm happy about the win. Yes, I'm happy about the comeback. Yes, I'm happy about the results. But as a Barcelona fan, I'm very concerned because this Barcelona is starting to look like the same Barcelona from November, where we were doing great in all competitions. We had a 10-point lead over Madrid. The team decreased its intensity, and pretty much we gave it all away. Madrid ended up surpassing us. I think, 7 points? Thankfully, Madrid also dropped a lot of points, which allowed us to regain the top spot. But this team is starting to look like the November Barcelona. We did horribly against Real Betis, and we got a draw. We did horribly against Leganés. We got lucky with an own goal and took the 3 points. We did horribly against Dortmund in the second leg. Thankfully, the first leg was enough to push us through the semifinal. And today, we did once again horribly against Celta Vigo. Thankfully, we were able to pull the comeback. But this is a very alarming trend where Barcelona have gone from bad match to bad match to bad match. And this is not the time for Barcelona to dip in form. This is the last stretch of the season. This is where trophies are won or lost. And in Barcelona continue on its trajectory, we could go from being very close to winning a treble to not winning anything because this performance cannot repeat itself once again. Now, As far as the match itself, I think the first few minutes, Barcelona came out with lots of intensity, creating a lot of chances. Ferran Torres scored the goal. And after that, the team completely fell asleep. The team fell asleep all the way until the halftime. The team became very, very slow with the circulation of the ball. The players were incredibly static, just standing in place, waiting for the ball to get to their feet. The team became sluggish. The team became highly, highly predictable. Again, the same Barcelona from November, sometimes even a little bit similar or reminiscent of the Xavi era Barcelona. And as a result of this, Celta Vigo were able to score 3 goals. During the second half, Barcelona kind of tried to come out with a little bit of intensity during the beginning of the first half, but once again, they fell asleep. Flick makes the substitutions at the 60th minute, bringing in Lamine Yamal and Dani Olmo. And for 5 minutes, Barcelona remembered the team that they are. And Barcelona started playing like they've been playing in January, February, March. And as a result of this great play, we scored 2 goals in 4 minutes, tying the match. And then Barcelona takes another nap until the 80-something minute. And then finally, when Barcelona figure out that they're running out of time, they start pressing again. Comes a penalty kick, and we take the 3 points, and we complete the comeback. But overall, again, very alarming because this team for 90 minutes were asleep and only woke up for 5 minutes, which of course gave us the 2 goals. And this is a problem because obviously the talent is still there, the idea, the strategy, the identity, it's all still there. And when Barcelona remember that, hey, we can do these things, we see a completely different Barca. We saw it during those 5 minutes where we scored 2 goals. But then the team relaxes and it all goes to hell. And what this team seems to forget is that if we're not at the top of our form, we're a very, very vulnerable team. So this is not a team that could relax. This is not a team that could take its foot off the accelerator because otherwise we become a very vulnerable team. This is not Pep Guardiola's Barcelona where they could just, if they see that this is not a really difficult opponent or a difficult match, maybe we could slow it down, maybe we could reduce the intensity and still be able to win. No, this is a team that always has to maintain its foot on the accelerator. This is a team that has to be on top form. Otherwise, we're a very, very vulnerable team. And today was the perfect example of that. When Barcelona put its foot on the accelerator, we scored 2 goals, we tied the match. When Barcelona took off their foot off the accelerator, we conceded 3 goals. So very alarming trend for Barcelona. But the silver lining, I think this match will go, or at least has the potential to help these players a lot mentally. I think the team was a little bit mentally exhausted after that drop in points against Betis when Madrid had dropped points. After that terrible win against Leganés, thanks to an own goal. After that terrible win against Dortmund, I think the team was a little bit mentally exhausted. But today is a big, big boost for the team mentally because, of course, comebacks always, help you mentally, help your spirits, and help you, stay focused and engaged in the tournament. And I hope that's what will happen because, again, if Barcelona continue on this trend, this is 4 matches in a row that were horrible performance, we can be in deep trouble. Now, let's talk about the players themselves because today there were a lot of players who were exposed, starting with Wojciech Szczesny. Again, Wojciech Szczesny, his timing coming off the line has been horrible. It's improved throughout the second half of the season, but overall, his timing is still bad. We saw it when he first started playing for Barcelona. We had that red card against Madrid. There was, I think, 1 or 2 penalty kicks for him coming off late. We saw it against Dortmund. Also a penalty kick from him coming off late. And today, Celta Vigo's first goal was a terrible, terrible mistake by Szczesny. He wasn't even close to getting that ball, and he pretty much gave away that goal to Celta Vigo. So it looks like Szczesny is still struggling with his timing as far as coming off the line. When he's in front of goal, perfect goalkeeper. He can stop anything that comes his way. We saw a lot of very important saves that he made during the match. But when it comes to him coming off the line, he's an absolute disaster, which is crazy to me because, again, when he's under the post, he's an absolutely remarkable goalkeeper. Coming off the line, it's like a completely different goalkeeper that, I don't know, just started playing 2 weeks ago professional football. So not the best matches of Szczesny. I think he did make up for his mistake that gave Celta Vigo's goal away. But nonetheless, it's still very concerning to still see that Szczesny still has terrible, terrible timing coming off the line. Another player that was exposed today, Gerard Martin. Today was not a good day for Gerard Martin whatsoever. Gerard Martin, I think, has been on an ascending trajectory throughout the season. He didn't start well the season because he had just been called up from Barca Athletic, so it took him some time to get used to first division. And then we started seeing him getting better and better after, with every single match. Today, I think he took a couple of steps back because today he was not a good match for him. I think today our left flank was very exposed, and I think it has to do with Gerard Martin's weakness, which the fact is that he's not really a fullback. He's a left back, right? He's a defensive left back. He's not a fullback. He's not someone who knows how to attack. And when he does, go up to help with the attack, it leaves him very exposed because then he has to track back, and that kind of leaves him exposed. It leaves him, not in the best position to stop a counter attack because, again, Gerard Martin is not really an attacking fullback. He's a defensive left back, and today was not a good match for Gerard Martin. I hope he can correct these mistakes and get better because we are going to have to rely on him because Balde is not coming back until the semifinals of the Champions League, or maybe Flick can come up with a different solution. We know Eric Garcia played as a left back and did a really good job as a left back when he played for Girona. We'll see what happens, but today Gerard Martin was definitely exposed. All the goals came from his side. All the attacks came from his side. So not a good match for the Barca Athletic player. Another player that was once again exposed is Frankie de Jong. And today, I can confidently say Frankie de Jong is a waste of space. He's a waste of space on the field. He's a waste of space on our wage bill. He's a waste of space on our financial fair play. Hell, he's a waste of space in the locker room because that locker could be used by someone else. But Frankie de Jong is an absolute waste of space. And I've been saying it for a very long time. People are always defending him. And at this point, if you can't see why Frankie de Jong is a waste of space, then I don't know how else to show it to you, because today, Frankie de Jong once again showed us that on the field, he's a walking zombie. No intensity, no desire to do anything. He tries something. If it works out, great. If it doesn't, oh well, I don't care. I'm the highest earning player in La Liga, so who gives a shit? Today, he makes a stupid mistake. First of all, he could have easily had the Celta, I think it was Borja, could have easily left him offside, but instead he tracks back, given the Celta Vigo, put him on onside position. Then he goes to intercept the ball and pretty much assists the Celta Vigo attacker. Not to mention that throughout the whole match, he was a walking zombie. It doesn't look like he wants to be there. Doesn't look like he cares about what's going on. He's just there. He's just there because Flick told him he was going to play. So I guess I'll show up, see what I could do. If I could do something great, if not, oh well. And Frankie de Jong being a captain, being the fact that he is a player with experience that's been in Barcelona for 5-6 seasons, being the highest paid player in La Liga, you would expect him to try to contribute when things are going bad. But that's not Frankie. When the team is doing great, when the team is winning, Frankie has good matches. When the things are not going well for Barcelona, you cannot count on Frankie to step up and say, okay, I'm going to help change the course of this match. He's just not that player. And not only does he not do that, he becomes a liability, which is even worse. Okay, if you're not going to step up and be the captain that you're supposed to be and be the top midfielder that you're supposed to be, at least stay neutral and just do your job. No. He goes from having great matches when the team is doing great to being an absolute liability when things are going bad. And Frankie de Jong is an absolute waste of space. I've said it multiple times. I'm sick and tired of this guy. He needs to get the fuck out of Barcelona. I don't know why the hell is Deco considering renewing this clown after the entire fiasco of him not even responding to Barcelona's calls. What the fuck are we doing here? We've paid so much money to sign this guy. We've paid so much money towards his salary, and he's incapable of stepping up. Sometimes he's even incapable of doing his job. Get him the fuck out of this club. Frankie de Jong is a waste of space. If you can't see it by now, it's because you don't want to see it. But Frankie de Jong is a waste of space. Another player that I want to talk about is Dani Olmo, not because he had a bad match, but because he absolutely transformed this Barcelona once he came on. I think Hansi Flick once again did an absolutely brilliant job with the substitutions, bringing in Lamine Yamal, which of course right away improved the team because Lamine Yamal is the best player in the world. No matter what people want to say, he is the best player in the world at 17 years old. And Dani Olmo, I think he completely changed Barcelona's midfield. A player that came on and in 2-3 minutes already improve the midfield of Barcelona, something that Frankie de Jong, again, who's supposed to be a captain, was incapable of doing the entire 90 minutes. As soon as Dani Olmo came on, he scores a goal. And honestly, it's an absolute travesty that Dani Olmo cannot stay healthy, because we all see how he can transform Barcelona's attack just like that with a flip of a switch. If this guy could stay healthy, I think he would be an incredibly lethal player. He would be one of the best players in Europe. But unfortunately, the injuries are just not allowing him to achieve his full potential. Hopefully, with the genetic testing that they did with him, and when the new diet and exercise plans that they've implemented, hopefully he can become a healthy player like what Barcelona did with Pedri, where Pedri was constantly getting injured. Thankfully, this season, Pedri has avoided injuries, and he's been an absolute masterclass. And I think the same thing can happen with Dani Olmo. If we can find a way to keep him healthy, I think Dani Olmo could easily become one of the best, if not the best, attacking midfielders in Europe, because as soon as he stepped onto the field, it completely changed the dynamics of the match, and immediately he scored the second goal of Barcelona. Rafinha, I think today Rafinha regained a little bit of his form from from earlier this season. He's not quite there yet, because we were talking about how Rafinha hasn't been the same since the FIFA international break. He had a huge dip in form. He was looking like the Rafinha from the last 2 seasons. Today he improved. Still not there yet. It's still not the Coutinho level that we saw in January, February, March, and even before that. But today he did have an improved match, and of course he came in clutch. 2 goals, Barcelona's 3rd and 4th goal, and he did have an assist to Dani Olmo. That was an incredible play, by the way. Lewandowski first touch pass to Rafinha first touch pass to Dani Olmo, leaving in front of the goal, which is what Barcelona should have been doing the whole match, instead of passing the ball left and right with no absolute purpose, and to the point where Celta Vigo were really defending by walking through the field. Like, it wasn't even that difficult for Celta Vigo. So again, epic comeback. Very happy with the results. Happy with the 3 points. Happy with the comeback. But this is very alarming trend. This is the 4th match in a row that Barcelona are not doing well. And the problem here is that expect Inter Milan to play just like Celta Vigo. And this is why I said at the beginning, epic comeback, but with a huge but. And again, I'm not talking about big booty chicks. I'm talking about this is a red flag, because expect Inter Milan to play the same exact way. Compact in the back, defending with everything they got, and then waiting for those counterattacks. What's the difference? The difference is Inter Milan is not Celta Vigo. Inter Milan have much better players. Inter Milan have much more quality players, and Inter Milan could do a lot of damage. If Barcelona play against Inter Milan the same way they played against Celta Vigo today, forget about it. That Champions League semifinal will be over in the first leg. So I hope the team takes this as a lesson to improve things, because we cannot play like this again. I hope that this comeback will be a huge mental boost for the players, because comebacks like these are always very important. But again, very alarming. I mean, we always complain about how Real Madrid play like shit and they end up winning. So if we have to complain about Madrid play like shit and winning, we have to complain when Barcelona play like shit and they also win. So again, happy with the result, but red flags. So I hope Flick can notice this and, implement some changes. All right, let's do the comment section. Shin, who's been member for 11 months, always supporting the channel as a member and always with his generous donations, says, as much as I trust Flick entirely with our beloved team, when we leak goals because players aren't doing their jobs with the high press, I can't help but miss the old 4-3-3 holding with a CDM. I think what we've seen is with this team is that when this team is, again, when they're on top form, they're absolutely unstoppable. The minute they take their foot off the accelerator, this becomes a vulnerable team. And that's a problem. And that's a problem because we cannot take our foot off the accelerator right now. We are in the final weeks of the season. Everything is still at play. La Liga is not over. There's still, 7 matches left or 6 matches left. And we're only 7 points ahead of Madrid, with Madrid having played their match tomorrow. We still have the final of the Copa del Rey, and we have 2 semifinals in the Champions League. So this season is nowhere to being over. And we just cannot take our foot off the accelerator because this team becomes incredibly vulnerable. So hopefully this is a lesson for the players. And Richard, who's always also supporting the channel with his generous donation, says, Real Madrid remontada. Well, here it is. Vizca Barça. Mo, are you now concerned about Gerard Martin as left against Inter and Madrid? If Gerard Martin repeats the performance from today, yes, absolutely, I would be worried. If Gerard Martin plays like he's played previous matches, no, I wouldn't be. Because I think Gerard Martin has shown us Not today. Today was a horrible match for him, but he's shown us in previous matches that he can do the job. Not exceptionally well, nowhere close to Balde's level, but at least to the point where he could cover that position and not be a liability. Today, he was a liability because today he just didn't have a good match. And I think a lot of it has to do because he was so high up. Because again, Gerard Martin is not an attacking fullback. He's a defensive left back. And when he presses up so high, I think that leaves him exposed because he just doesn't know how to track back and get back into position. And we saw him struggle today a lot. So again, if he plays like today, absolutely. I'm 100% worried. But if he plays like previous matches, I think it's good enough. Again, not exceptional. I'm not saying, oh, Gerard Martin, oh my God, the best left back in the world. No, but I think he can at least cover the position as long as he plays like he was playing before. And Richard with another generous donation says, I'll be honest, I'm having doubts. We have the defense to win Champions League. I hope I'm wrong. Visca Barca. I think we do have the defense to win the Champions League. I mean, our defense is not as good as Inter's. I think Inter have the best defense in Europe. But I mean, what we compensate with that, with the fact that with ball possession, right? Barcelona have never been a defensively strong team. Barcelona have always defended with the possession of the ball, because if you have the ball, the other team can't do anything, right? You cannot score without the ball. So I think we do have the defense. The problem is our midfield and our attack have to be on point. And today they weren't. They were losing way too many balls. And when your lines are so advanced and your midfield and our attack in front are losing the ball so much, that's always going to leave your defense exposed, because you're so high up the field. They lose the ball, it's over. So what Barcelona need to work on, not necessarily improve the defense, because our defense is our defense. What we need to do is improve our ball possession, the control of the ball. We cannot be losing balls so easily in the other opponent's half. And if we do, we have to immediately recover it. Otherwise, you saw what happened today. And today, we didn't see any of that, right? We were losing the ball way too easily, and we weren't trying to press to recover it. And that's why our defense was left so exposed, which, of course, it's unfair for the defense, because then it looks like the defense is absolute shit, but it has to do with the midfield and the front and our attack, who are not doing their jobs of maintaining the ball and recovering it upon loss. Again, a place where Frankie de Jong is supposed to step up, but he's such a waste of space that it leaves our defense exposed. Madu Doozy says, guys, Pau Victor is a good player and people don't see that. I mean, look, if Flick is not playing Pau Victor, is because he sees something that we don't see. And I'm not about to start questioning Flick's decisions as far as players. So, I mean, we only see those few minutes that he comes on the field. Flick sees them for hours every single day, day after day, week after week, month after month. So if Flick is not playing him, it's because he sees something. And again, I'm not here to question him. And Mustafa with the generous donation says, Lewa, though, we need a striker next season. Visca Barca. There is no plans to sign a striker for next season. Lewa will finish his contract until 2026, and then Barcelona will try to sign someone in the summer of 2026, because right now we don't have money. We don't have financial fair play. So we have to prioritize signings. And right now, the left wing is a big weakness, much bigger than the striker, because as much as you want to hate on Lewandowski, he still has 40-plus goals at 36 years old. What other striker has 40-plus goals, let alone at that age? So don't think we're going to sign any strikers this summer. That's not going to come until the summer of 2026. Julia says, I think I grew about 50 new gray hairs today. Yeah, I'm there with you, my friend. And Arnold says, hey, Mo, I'm glad to catch a live for a long time without due to my work schedule. But what a game. Congrats to the team. Well, I'm glad you're able to join us. Again, I'm happy with the result, but I wouldn't say this is what a game, because this was an absolute horrendous performance by Barcelona. But great to see a comeback. I think as a football fan, we all want to see these kind of crazy comebacks. But as far as a Barcelona fan, it's very concerning to see the team play like this. Sia Bonga says, hello, Mo. This is DSK from South Africa. Can't the money we made from the Champions League count for Barca to go back to 1-1? I mean, we should have made about 100 million by now. Well, here's the thing. Barcelona already, so at the beginning of the year, Barcelona has a budget forecast, right? This is how much we think we're going to make. This is how much we think we're going to spend. And based on that, you calculate how much you're going to have in profits. Right. So far, Barcelona have exceeded their forecast, because Barcelona always have it in their budget forecasted that they're going to make it to the quarterfinals of the Champions League. Because I think for a club as big as Barcelona, I think that always should be the standard. Last season people were like, wow, Xavi's the greatest coach ever because he brought us to the quarterfinals. No, my friend. The quarterfinals should be the minimum. The minimum. Barcelona should always be amongst the top 8 teams in Europe. No question about it. So Barcelona always budget to make it at least to the quarterfinals. Now we're in the semifinals, so we've exceeded what we forecasted, I think by 20 or 30 million. But what's the problem? Is we didn't go back to the Camp Nou. And in the budget, we had forecasted to make more money from the stadium from moving to the Camp Nou. We didn't. So we lost money there for not moving to Camp Nou. We're making it up with the Champions League, but we'll see at the end of the fiscal year, which ends on June 30th, where we at. Are we gonna even out and still, have those 8 million that we forecasted in profits, or are the losses from the stadium gonna exceed the losses from the gains from the Champions League, right? Or the opposite? We're gonna have to wait and see. So yes, we are making more money than we expected from the Champions League, but we're also losing a lot of money from the fact that we didn't go back to the Camp Nou. Katibi says, the real Ramon Taramo, we don't care about anything. We always struggle with Celta Vigo, even in Messi time. You should care about it, because this is not the first match we're struggling. This is 4 matches in a row that we're struggling, and not against the best of opponents. We struggle against Betis. We struggle against Leganés. We struggle against Dortmund. So you should be concerned. Fibsy says, Gerard Martin may cause us problems against better teams. He seems shaky, lost a lot of possession, and did not contribute much against Dortmund. He also wasn't at the right level. I disagree. I think Gerard Martin was the few players who did a good job against Dortmund. Today, horrible match, but I think Gerard Martin did a good job against Dortmund. And Cornell, what's up, my man, says, we were poor in finishing throughout majority of the first 3 quarters of the game. The problem is our ball movement was just absolute shit. Our ball movement circulation was incredibly slow. The players were all static. They were all just standing in place waiting for the ball to come to them, to the point where Celta Vigo were really defending by just walking. They weren't even sprinting or running. They were just like, we'll walk over here, we'll walk over there. So, of course, if you're not circulating the ball fast enough, if your players are not moving and creating passing corridors, like, it's just your attack is just not going to do anything. And 4Dim says, Gerard should never start again. He knows our defense or helps attack. He plays in the pitch telling the calma Gerard every time he gets the ball. Again, he had a bad match, but I think in the previous matches, he's done good enough job. I wouldn't completely crucify him over one bad match. Again, if he repeats the performance from today, yes, it is concerning. But overall, he's been doing better and better with every single match. Today, he had a bad match. Doesn't mean all of a sudden that's it, crucify him, it's over. I mean, geez, for fuck's sake, Frankie keeps giving us shitty performance after shitty performance, and people still defend him. And then, Gerard Martin has one bad match, and people want to throw him out the window. Like, where's the double standard? Where it should be the opposite, right? We should be giving more margin of error to Gerard Martin, someone who it's his first time in first division, who came up through the academy, who cost us nothing, versus Frankie, who is the highest paid player in La Liga, cost us 100 mil to sign, has been playing in top flight football for 7-8 years, who's a captain. That's the kind of player that you should be like, no margin for error. If you fuck up, you should go, because at this point, you shouldn't be making the kind of errors that you are. But here we have Gerard Martin, who is, again, first cost us nothing, first season in first division, and people are ready to chop his head off because he had one bad match. I just don't understand a double standard when it should be the opposite. Not the Gamer says, we need Saudi oil so we don't take our foot off the gas. Yeah. Chintia says, Pau Victor and Ferran will have to step up now that Lewandowski is out. Hopefully, Lewandowski's injury is nothing serious. We did see him ask for a substitution, and he was touching the back of his thigh. Hopefully, it's nothing serious, but especially because I think today Ferran Torres showed us what I've been saying time and time again. He's great off the bench, but you can't count on him the full 90 minutes. Ferran Torres came on, super motivated. He scores that incredible goal. And then after 30 minutes, he just kind of starts disappearing. And I think we've seen that time and time again. I think Ferran Torres can give you great 30 minutes, maybe 40 tops, but full 90, he just can't. And today we saw it, right? He gave us the first 20, 30 minutes. Great. He scored that amazing goal. And after that, he just started disappearing. So I think he's a great player off the bench. He's a super sub. But would I rely on him to play entire matches? I wouldn't. Vaughn says, totally agree with you. Sell Frankie and promote a new La Masia player. I mean, shit, if we could sell Frankie for 60, 70, we can easily sign someone who, someone for the left wing. We can sign Nico in his place, and we don't need to replace him. Remember, we still have Casado and Marc Bernal, who will be back next season. Let's see. Besu Ficat says, Mo, how you doing? This match performance make me nervous against Inter. Yeah, for sure, because, again, expect Inter to play the same way they Celta Vigo played. The difference is Inter actually have players who can cause a lot more damage than what Celta have. Not the gamer says, midfield 1-on-1, control the tempo of the game and connect passes. Frankie Brain, D-Right Pedri, and take the ball for too long. 100% agree with you, my friend. Frank is not a player that can control the tempo of the match or set the tempo of the match. Frankie is not a player that can slow if he sees, oh, look, it's getting chaotic, the other team is pressing, let me slow down the tempo, let me hold the ball a little bit longer. No. Frankie doesn't do any of that. Frankie cannot influence the match. Frankie has great matches. Every great match that Frankie has had this season is because the entire team was playing great and the entire team was having a great match. If everybody else are not doing great around him, Frankie is not a player that can influence the match. He's not a player that can step up and say, okay, I'm the captain. I'm a veteran. I've been here 5-6 seasons. Okay, let me put some order in the midfield. Let me, impose some control. Let me set. No. Frankie's just a walking zombie. If things work out for him, great. If not, oh well. And people still defend him, which is absolutely mind-blowing to me. Vaughn says it's crucial. Dani Olmo stays fit for the next 5 weeks. He is key. Absolutely agree with you. Again, I think Dani Olmo today showed us that he's a player with a lot of quality. But unfortunately, that his injuries just keep getting in the way. If he could stay healthy, man, Dani Olmo could become like one of the best in Europe, easily. That's the only thing stopping him. The talent is there. The skills are there. The football IQ is there. The field vision is there. It's all there. The only thing stopping him is his injury. So let's hope that Barcelona can find the key to keeping him healthy, the same way they found the key to keeping Pedri healthy, because that would change things. Gio says, Barca has the most goals in the Champions League and Inter has the least goals conceded. This is a semifinal made in heaven. Absolutely agree with you. I think that's a final level matchup, to be honest, the Barca-Inter. Yeah, you're talking about the strongest attack versus the strongest defense. I mean, it's going to be an absolute showdown. But Barcelona cannot show up to those semifinals the same way they showed up today, or against Dortmund in the second leg, or against Leganés, or against Real Betis. Ysef says Barcelona need more intensity in the midfield than any other area, and defensive area also need to focus on each other. And Kay says Fermin needs help in the midfield more often than pushing up. His position hurts the midfield sometimes. Only FDJ and Pedri left in the midfield. Well, Fermin is an attacking midfield, so of course he's going to be up front. Today, Fermin, I think I saw him and Kouarsi were the only players who seemed to have energy and intensity, but today Fermin was a little bit very off with his passes, very off with his shooting. Not the best of matches for Fermin. Edwin says, thoughts on the front three today. We had zero width on the field, which made it easier for Celta to stay compact and sit back. How can we fix it if Lamine is resting? We need to sign a left winger. I think that's what we need. A left winger that can dribble like Lamine, because if you got Lamine and whoever it is, Nico, whoever, both dribble, making field wider, it's just gonna make it easier for everyone else. And if Lamine is having a day off, you can at least have whoever's on the left step up. Or if Lamine needs to rest, whoever's on the left can step up. But right now, it's just Lamine. And if Lamine is having an off day, or Lamine needs to rest, that's it. It's over. We don't have anyone that can dribble. That's why we need another winger who can. Let's see. Mohamad Al-Marzuki says, hi, Mo, please watch your mouth. You are talking a lot of bad language. If you can't handle my mouth, don't watch. King City SC says, also play a game every 3 days and killing us, because we play an intense game almost every game. To do it every 3 is crazy. I agree, but that's what rotations are for, right? And plus, the calendar cannot be an excuse. We can complain about the calendar. La Liga needs to do something about the calendar. But at the end of the day, this is the calendar for every team, right? So the calendar cannot be an excuse, because whoever wants to be, that's one way to be a champion too, right? It's not just playing better than the rest, but it's how you manage your players, how you manage your rotations, how you manage your injuries. That also plays into who becomes champion. It's not just about the best team who plays the best is champion. you know, so this also plays into it. Kitank says Frankie has been also playing well. It's just, no, it's not just this match. Frankie was horrible against Dortmund. He was horrible against Leganés. He was horrible against Real Betis. This was not the first bad match of Frankie de Jong. Not to mention how he's been horrible for the past 5-6 seasons. Frankie de Jong is the same freaking story. I don't know why people keep expecting a different result. It's like Einstein said when he defined insanity. Insanity is doing the same thing over and over again and expecting a different result. Frankie de Jong has been the same player every season. He'll give you 4 or 5 great matches followed by 30 horrible matches. That has been every single season. This season, no different. Yes, Frankie had some great matches in January, February, March, here and there, followed up by really bad matches. I don't know why people all of a sudden start thinking that Frankie de Jong is going to be this incredible midfielder that we all thought he was going to be when we signed Ajax, where year after year after year after year, he has shown us that he is an incredibly inconsistent player. He'll have a great match, followed by 4 or 5 bad matches. That's the same. It's the same Frankie from this season, then the last season, then the season before. It's the same Frankie that we saw under Valverde, under Setien, under Koeman, under Xabi, and now under Flick. And people still expect that Frankie somehow, some way, magically is going to be an amazing player. No. Yes, he is capable of giving you amazing performances, only to be followed by horrible performances. Let's see. For them says we're not going to act cute here for Gerard. This is the effort of our entire team about to go down the drain. And Alok says, hello, Mo. We need a young, cheap striker who can learn from Leo's experience. Someone like Liam Delap or Nasser. Again, there's no plans to sign any strikers because, unfortunately, there is no money. And we have to prioritize the very little money that we have. And right now, we have to prioritize the left wing or the fullbacks, of course. Hopefully both. Not the Gamer says, if Pedri thinks the world is round, Frankie thinks the world is flat. That pretty much sums it up. And that's a perfect point to stop the live stream because, well, everything that I want to say, I have said it. Thank you guys for tuning in. Thank you for your comments, your likes, your subscriptions. I will be posting news videos later today, so stay tuned to the channel. Don't forget to hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, drop a comment, and as always, be scars.